The graffito has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil. This was Cindy the Skull. The lieutenant crouches, touching the fuel oil with his finger.
Looks like it, yes. This is still fresh. It wasn't here yesterday. And blood. Some of it is even yours.
Heavy fuel oil. Isn't that flammable? The fuel oil catches fire immediately with a low hiss. A bright orange flash across the surface of the lettering. Rain turns to vapor above the burning message, mingling with the black smoke. The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face illuminated by the flames and nods silently. The flames warmed him too. Not at all in a bad way.
Let's go to that island.
Slowly, the flames subside, the fuel burning out. The air still smells of mazout and springtime. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Something is wrong. Only static, hissing, no reply. Only the mic.
It's been this way for a while now. My guess is the Union is listening in on our conversation. It only happens when someone mentions the attack. The rest is unaffected. Our best bet is to carry on like nothing happened. That is, if we don't want us cut off the grid completely. No more dangerous than stepping between 3 armed mercenaries and 8 Union men. I don't like it either, but that's the way it is. The street seems safe enough to me. If anything, you can try calling again. Just don't mention the tribunal.
They're shutting you up, silencing you. In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
My man, you're alive. Almost. Kind of. Sort of alive? Man, what a day. I missed out on most of the action, but I heard it was quite the encounter. Had a strong sense of finality to it. So what's next? You guys heading back to Jamrock now? Talk is local union muscle were behind it all. I'd reckon the case is closed, even if it kind of turned into a shit show. Good luck with that, my man. Ain't easy being you, but hey, you're still breathing, right? Okay.
Is it wise to share information? The lieutenant throws you. What are you doing?
Woof. Good on her. And good on you, too, my man. That's merciful. Downright merciful. You cops keep exercising that muscle, and people will be more willing to cooperate, you know.
He's clearly relieved.
All right. That's enough sharing details about it.
This found the smell of cigarettes and perfume were closed. Stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
There are types of danger. The one I'm usually concerned with is lung cancer or getting mauled. It calls back to an older era where this was commonplace, though. You have a true boyadero heart. Hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor's in full lockdown, friend. No getting in or out, for the time being. No, man. Not today.
He says it matter-of-factly.
Time will tell. I'll tell Evrak you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad. I'll be okay here, doing lookout. Quite the sight, aren't they? Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any insane killers turn up. Then I'll run. And live. You know it, friend.
Is this about the questions again?
To the left. The tear machine stands. A colorful...
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste... Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Everyone says you started crying in the middle of a firefight and then bled like a pig. I guess that was cool. Cool. That's very cool to Kuno. Just don't think because you got half your dick shot off and you're an invalid now, Kuno's gonna treat you different. Kuno doesn't reward weakness. It's business as usual with Kuno. Kuno's cold like that.
Feels good for some reason.
Watch out, pig. Who knows?
I'll die before I squeal. You don't want to...
You can... The dented yellow mailbox.
Oh my god! Things have gotten out of hand! I thought the psychic stuff was bad, but the crime! It's even worse! I haven't been able to come to work for 3 days. The shop has been locked. No sales, gangbangers running around, shooting everyone. And you! Oh my god! Just look at you! It looks like even the police come. Maybe I should close the bookstore and open a psychic studio. I could teach people to protect themselves against bad energies and to fight crime. No, you're right, officer. You've convinced me. In the meantime, do buy the books. As many as you can. They won't be here for much longer. Is there anything... Oh my god! Oh my god! Even the police can't take care of all of this. Just look at... Maybe I should close the bookstore and open a psychic studio. Yeah, I could teach people to protect themselves against bad energies and to fight crime. No need to be modest, good officer. You, in the meantime, do buy the books. As many... Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. Some of these old paperbacks just...
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books? Which book was it, sir? Oh, I'm very sorry, sir. I haven't...
It's dark, and the flashlight works a lot better if you hold it in your hand. Right.
Some area.
It's dark, and the flashlight works a lot better if you...
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking? I'm listening. Good. I hope I'm sorry.
Give up. You'll never find the answer. There's no other copy of Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. There isn't. If only, maybe if there had been more money. Or that. Hang on, you can do this. Use your aim. So, who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Denuva, detective? Just fucking pick one. Sure, why not? Everyone knows politicians are corrupt. Way to go, public corruption cop. You've seen firsthand how...
Give me a moment.
You hear someone, a poor...
Do you have...
Let's go.
It's Jen... The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusion. They look pretty
Where? There? Those are old. Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution and do not warrant not much. I don't have a fresh...
Mon Dieu! You set it on fire! What kind of a policeman are you? Oh, of course. I didn't think of it. Good job, officer. Mon Dieu! You set it on fire. Oh, well, thank you, officer. It certainly lightened the mood. Very. Mon Dieu! Oh!
Wow! A cop limping down the street, bleeding from the shoulder? Cool! That's cool!
Between you and me, this is why I don't get involved in local politics. So it goes. Now, what can I do for you?
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at even I can see that. Though I suppose you took the worst of it. Turns out you were your own ill omen. I'm not sure those were the loss of the men with guns either.
Then we'll be ready for them. The scruffy-haired little boy. There's...
The legend! He's back!
Man, you're like bleeding now. Reality's really met.
Hello, mister. Bye.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
You're not limping. She sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
Well, good for you. Of course. Can I help? That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead. I'm satisfied.
That's cool. You boasting your bacterial infection like that.
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye. See, that makes me not want to lend you my skiff. On a boat, rocking leads to capsizing. That there isn't... Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti...
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me.
This must be one of the many fortifications that was used in the dying day.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring the twins. God forbid they bring the girl up.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do. Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Please be conservative with the...
The scruffy-haired little boy.
And that I am. That's, nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there. It's great. And we make a fire. We make a fire. Mm-hmm. Gather the sticks for the fire.
Bullet shells. There are a lot of them left over from the war. But this could be important.
I don't know what those are. They're alive. The fire guy.
Your nerve endings sting. They must mean a human being on that island. But it's cut off.
No. Yes.
Let's go with yes.
Because he asks to put the fire out. I don't know. He doesn't like it. He don't like people to be there. You shouldn't go. Yes.
Did you mean there are...
Yes. No, he doesn't live there. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't...
Anything else?
I don't know. We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there. Our father killed himself. Don't say that, he didn't. I don't know. Doesn't even have anything to do with this, you. Father is...
The two things are unconnected. Your question didn't make sense.
There's
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
Oh, hey, man. It's goodbye.
Hardcore. Ouch. I did notice when I was 16 I used to date this guy who had a limp. But it only showed when he was sober. Anyway, shot in the leg. I'm sorry.
Yo, man. What's on your... That's a deal!
Yes, what is it?
A metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. There's a bit life is gone. The trap is poor things. An old door, worn by elements, guards the depot. The wind has blown a sand dune. A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle and you're off into... Have you made all the necessary preparations? Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
What? Fine. Let's blast SAD FM then.
SAD FM is a radio station specializing in sad, slow. The skiff, once you get... Have you made... Remember what the net picker said. The skiff, once you get... Have you... Remember what the net picker said.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Eternally. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off.
Let's go.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot.
Ah, yes, so it seems. For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies?
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
That's it. You got it. The whole shebang. The coat, the hat, the swindle so crooked, a Yegman. That's either a safe, the deaths of Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve. The case Dick Mullin was on. That's what this crooked swindle must be. This is how I always talk. You're right. Classic case of Mullin. Don't think like a cop. Cops don't solve cases. They slide the Dicks, Gumhills, Hawkshaws, Bullseye, a snooper, and a damn good one. If there's any doubt, consult your trusty Dick Mullin book and an old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The cables disappear into the wall to your right. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it.
Wait, haven't you heard this before?
Downstairs, somewhere? Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel.
The lieutenant pauses. Something seems to be
long and cold.
There's no time to dwell on this moment. You've got...
I don't know.
That is his idea of a joke.
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly. A hollow ring. The canister is empty. The lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. There's a red starter switch. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an...
That should do it.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on...
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
A flash of pain interrupts you.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead. Yes, anytime. If you need...
You don't? Books and magazines lie scattered on the most are soft covers. Popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists, and among what is mostly commercial fiction.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Soft covers, serialized, and oh yes, under the bed, there is a rather extensive collection of critical theory, that is, dour, life non-affirming left-wing literature, published by small imprints such as Abattoir Firm and Ouzia. It's not exactly like reading.
Ouzia. I agree. Humanitarian sciences.
Your incendiary remark, wasn't there some in the communist students' room?
Well, yes. That one student did.
The little books seem inconsequential next to...
Again, I am not a philosopher, but whoever has lived here, they have some education.
Interesting. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above.
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan.
This old cylinder... Green paint flakes off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows...
The console of an antique computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. I think, yes. Let's see. That one. The emergency open.
The dial slides under the glass. Dark, the blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. A sudden wave of anxiety makes...
After you. I don't know.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered.
B triple prime. This looks like a good place. A good place to hide. Cozy. Relatively safe from the rain.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you, like a little window. Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning. The springs screech as you lean on the mat. Trepidation. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar. A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags. The box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight reflecting off the upstairs.
Do you have a line of sight to the window? I can see it. Through the scope of a rifle. The shooter would be prone, lying on a mattress.
Cheek against a cheek rest. Hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this.
Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
In our defense, nothing pointed here. Many leads pointed elsewhere. Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
The lieutenant pauses.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it. Where?
He does not answer. Just he feels.
We should move now.
A strange feeling, looking at the water. Maybe you should just wander off In the still mirror of the bay, you see Martinez, reflected. Tall islets and posts, like stepping stones, lead into the water. Perhaps there's someone there, where it has always been. Yes, cold and still. Oh, fuck, yes. Go there and No, we're not starting with that. Not now. Not... An old man, wearing tracksuit trousers, leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
The what now? I can't hear you. I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position. Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up. I did. And you opened it. How? Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness, a weapon of the bourgeoisie. The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate, hip-gyrating, mental illness music. It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done. It's a Triangong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Signal Commune. Military aid.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from the board. Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
His right eye twitches. With what? Fear? Rage?
We have come to ask you questions, nothing more. If you do not comply, we will take you in.
The danger levels here are hard to read. One moment he's a fire, the next, a fire gone out.
No. Put it down now, sir.
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me. It's out of bullets.
He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness.
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
The present to be afraid and cold. Real music. Real Brilliant Kult. That's La Révacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
You need to address that remark.
The job of a shitlicker. It is the anthem of the world revolution. One of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Signal, it was... Everyone has. They named a fucking perfume after it. Talk to her. It's the drugs you're all on. How did it go? Something about shooting rabbits.
He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't. It was dear to him. He resents forgetting it. His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stopped, the rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen on the butt. You see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangle, 4.46mm.
The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily...
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanty. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition.
The old man keeps following your motion with some kind of involuntary response. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a...
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
The Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insulindian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed, at 43 years. No. I've been on other islands too. I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. 43 years and 10 months. It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite Patrol Officer Judith Minnow points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet. The officers go, leaving behind the writing.
Always waiting. For her to return.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution. I am not a fool. I know the material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do. I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too. You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took for reaction to take hold. Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men. It's the same thing. You haven't seen it. Not really. Not naked. It's impossible not to be afraid.
It remains unclear what it is. He makes leaps he doesn't expect you to follow.
And this was when?
May the 13th, 08. 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rode the combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew.
A terrible shame, still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring. Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. The mask of humanity fall from capital. It asked to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world, and then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know that the bourgeois are not human. I had to fight it. I had to never stop. It's not an island, what? It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender. The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with a coalition military, called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. Sure you are. You're RCM. Answer me. Who calls an operation against 50 million people death blow? Iblis. The black-eyed angel.
Shaitan Ahura, the Darkened One.
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Now hold on there.
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater.
How is your health?
I've been throwing up blood since winter.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. I have been running out of that stuff. There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer. I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain. I don't even know what. Inferno?
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on, more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers.
They were posted.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them at night. I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right? I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze.
Rene, the royalist on the coast, said.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
If the party had surrendered, then it would not be the party. I don't think you did. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real. No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
The old man does not answer. He tilts.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the Commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution.
Awakened from shutdown by the... He was like a cleric, a shepherd.
No, the opposite of that. A future...
He nods slowly, then another tremor.
No, you're not. You're part of the meat shield. The human shield that's...
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions.
The old man spits into the fire pit.
There's nothing serious in this world. I've used it for killing people.
Here we go.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
So he's continued killing after. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt. This is what you live for. The great the solution. Go in straight. No. Be careful now. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
I don't want to tell you.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Oh, yes.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the Commune of Revachol.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies.
You had direct visibility. They are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your...
Almost. He almost burst out there. Keep piling up.
Not a lot of guns around.
It's a real gun. Not like your little... You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons?
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
You didn't handle anything. I watched it happen. You let those murderers rip. None of those people mean anything to you.
You're getting diverted. Push the...
So you watched the fight? Did you like what you saw? The mayhem. It was all your doing, your plan. You got them killed.
You don't know anything.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? Good. This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this.
Murder.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're ripped. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the... You got it. Remember? The boot?
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white.
He seems tender suddenly. Nostalgic even.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No. It's already here. Wash the filth away. They blossom on the islets before... The coast, too.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshop?
I may. Classier. With the victim.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite... Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on...
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are?
Show me the soles, please.
Fucking imbecile.
The maker is called sensory. You see their feet. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the...
The size fits, but not the sole.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your master?
The lieutenant gives you a quick... The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silence suddenly.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood. Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained kid got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and...
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in
The lieutenant raises his hush. He does not need to be pushed any. While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them. In fade. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death. Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Yes.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
The motive. This is... You can coax it out of him.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
I'm always looking.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it.
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
For him to stop reacting to stimuli, to be broken off from the world, cordoned into darkness.
And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
This man has seen past her, like you did. And now he longs to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
Since she came to Martinez, I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her. Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Semonine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
After she was gone...
Did you keep what was in it? When we found the submersible, it was empty.
No. Why would I do that? I didn't need tickets to Villiers. I'd put them back. If I wanted to extort someone, I'd do better.
This implies that he's thought about extorting her.
Why would I need that trash?
A strange confusion comes over him from time to time.
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks. And a body. I could see who she was, too. A spook. On the run. Revershal's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook? From the...
She had different color hair on the photo. And glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair.
He's setting it up the bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
It quickly comes to you.
Mm-hmm. Bending like a bow against the glass. I've been through all of Martinez, every nook and cranny. Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room, what she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the loot. One more loose end.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Since
past the...
Help.
In the freeze...
Did you keep? No.
This implies...
I did. You could tell...
He set the bruises.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur. There's nothing to hold on to. Only man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know. Yes, over the years. It's not... No. I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor. Like the day after I killed him. Yes, I don't know why I do the things I do anymore. Maybe, I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
A sudden pang.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant, one more down.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe...
While he stands here and rots.
No one gives a shit what...
The lieutenant, that's it.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days. Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week, at the island, like she knew. She'd look, at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs. 2 police officers. He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling... Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
You could get more out of him. He likes talking.
A tragic comedy. Druggies.
A strange little end. The familiar. Put, put, put.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. stripped clean and draped in neon. Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by... Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class. Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon or Coyamoran. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for... We did good when we pushed him under that horse car.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating.
Whores. Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III...
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives. What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest, working-class plastic. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be...
Wait. It suddenly strikes you. Perhaps it was not as it seemed.
What are you talking about? What is this madness?
The lieutenant, too, has cocked his head and is looking at you with a strange expression.
So you're saying it's a communist monument now?
Not only.
We did always have the prettiest posters. Maybe you're right. That is how dialectics work. But understand this, art is still a bourgeois institution. And they all should still be sent to Yekokata. It is commonplace to relocate the workforce according to the needs of the land. All nations do it. It's called settlement. Browbeating from the bourgeois art fascist. What are you talking? Delusional art, bourgeois. The fact...
Accusations of corruption. Push them aside with a sharp change of topic. He keeps having opinions about the union's lead.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the...
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the unions.
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass.
Edgar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must first against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to. Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. I was right about one of those things. 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. Just let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revolution.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a trait. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His making. That one. Fatten.
He whispers with such predatory hunger. It borders on longing.
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his...
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be...
Hearing it may destabilize him. You sure you've gotten everything from him?
No. I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it. All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head.
He reminded him of himself. The same.
Fuck you. You think I haven't seen people die?
He's not okay. This is just another Black Death, an idea, told to him by grown-ups, from radio towers, and then he lost it. So did they all. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. dark, cold water. He acknowledges it. Here we go.
But that bourgeois cow, Tiffin Holly was her name, licked the rich man's hand every time. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was
bordering on sentimentality. It drips out of him, tempered by something familiar to you. A familiar rage.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a barb called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran up.
No, that's not.
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not. She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Because she was dead?
Just say nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruin heading home to Grand Coron or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins. Someone shot her, or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes.
Another big spike of rage.
Nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just work.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the... If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk. We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything. All you know is I saw it happen, and I liked it. I liked it a lot.
The same old... There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody. And the loot.
Glad we talked about what?
His lip curls.
Glad we talked about what?
For a 60-year-old man, he's prone to erratic hand gestures and clearly malnourished. But that's it. You can see no more by looking at his slouched frame. The moment passes, and you say,
I ain't.
The old man stares despondently. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, it's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief. You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his foot, perhaps, but his seems more than that. In summary,
No, I'm not okay.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too.
Yes?
The old man stares.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable...
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel. Do you understand?
But... No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's not afraid of jail. He's afraid of something else.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
The old man stick.
What?
This
Your wayfarer... Do you?
But... No.
He's sweating.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
There it is again. To your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. Something completely different. It sounds like a bow.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat. What?
What are you talking about? Is this...
Your skin crawls. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arm.
What are you talking about? There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it.
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
Wow, pelos de punta.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch.
It is.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear. I am not palatable. Do not eat me. I am afraid.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
He's letting his pride get in the way. You see the phasmid turn to him. Its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick.
Shh. Okay.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you. Its antennae taking their measure of the... A sudden chirrup fills the air. The walking stick moves its whole body. It moves just an inch closer to you. Or does it only feel like it does? Something in its body language has changed, just slightly.
...97%, ¿eh?
Barely get to take one step. The creature read like the hiss is different from the
It is.
You glance.
We need a...
From the core. I am not palatable. Do not.
I won't be...
He's let you see the phasmid turn.
Understood. Of course.
The spindly mechanism. A sudden it moves. Something in its body language has changed. Just slightly. Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. The tracheal system on the creature's abdomen expands in front of you to take in and expel air. It's smelling you. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Maybe it is real, the pheromone.
About now, he is red. The insect's head is crowned with reed-like scales, the shape of seed heads. They rustle as the air moves. The ventricles at its abdomen continue expanding, like breathing you in, your sour, greasy semiochemicals on the breeze. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly, there is silence. No, stop. Be afraid. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if praying to you. The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle on its joints. Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating.
I exist. Tell me what it's like for you. Then I will tell you what it's like for me. Fire? Where? I do not have fire inside me. In me, there is not even blood, but lymph, like sap. from a one palm. Now, I will tell you what it's like for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist, shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations, a swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never burn. Are you sure? Sometimes, when molting, I will grow a lost limb. One time something went wrong, and a small leg replaced a missing antenna. Yes, the leg tried to move around independently, making it hard to walk. Yes, thankfully someone ate it. The next time I molded, I grew an antenna again. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? I can also detect pheromones. The ones on you tell me that you will not eat me, and that I will benefit from your closeness. In short, I love you. No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily. You can also eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Yum yum. Or read.
Wait, so...
Yes, they don't mind. Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulindian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molting, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It may have unknown, dangerous biochemical characteristics that help it maintain its camouflage.
And went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminoles Islanders who came here first, but did not stay. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51. Yes, I do not have a star to display, so I use a neurodegenerative element to aid in camouflage. Do not worry. It is only destructive over long periods of time.
The deserter. He's been here for a long time.
No. You are the miracle.
It was you, coming from the west, from the whirling. You were coming.
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident. We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget? No, you're only thinking it now. This is a revelation. Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
It doesn't look like that, no. You're just staring at it. Okay. Is it somehow related to the case? I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
No, there is one more. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. For all mankind. You cannot lie to me. Behind you, it smells of fires. So awfully far you were prepared to go in her presence. And it. She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
I got it.
Immortalized. For all time. The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the kiting curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than... Warning! A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes. There is some kind of countdown happening as it slowly processes the overwhelming brightness of the signal. The stimulus overloaded it. It's passing like an extended moment. It tastes like sugar, very faint, odorless, mostly comprised of water. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you. No reply. A total ancient... You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature. The invertebrate stops, raising as you're turning away. The phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water. The long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
It's gone. Apparently, yes, like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life. Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
In some kind of strange...
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
This passport, issued by the...
Classia's hidden documents. From the empty boy.
It's Clasia, with short black hair and glasses. An old photo. Before life came and did what it...
Maybe our man, Mr. Dross, took it from Classia's, or whatever her name was. Hiding place, or... Like a magpie? What a coincidence. Then it would also have collected the other objects. which would be highly unusual. She said it would be for Anouk Meyer-Smith.
Katarzyna Alazia was supposed to be her. I told you she kept lying to you. She's probably lying to someone else right now, in another city.
No, she lied to us. Her so-called real name was not her real name. Somehow she's managed to lie to us about that too. I don't know, but it's not Katarzyna Alazia, or Klasia, or Anouk Meyer-Smith. Perhaps it's better that we didn't arrest her.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Something is very wrong with him now.
See?
Mr. Dras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, with fear and longing. The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem, doesn't it, Mr. Dras?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. Old age and shock. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
There's much more. Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse. It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive. I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall. Told you? Yes, good. During your long staring match, I understand. That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here.
No response.
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it. Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds? The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse. He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him, like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
No one would believe you without it. He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. No reaction. His breathing is slow, and he appears very old all of a sudden. Around 80. This is an old man, at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains.
Did you take this passport and other papers from a boy on the coast?
The spirits.
He hears us. The spirit?
No reply. He's gone again.
Try something else? We got him back for a moment.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
The old man stares. ICN? This feels familiar somehow.
Insulindian Citizens Militia. It's the official name of the commune.
Sounds an awful lot like.
It does. The RCM made... It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people...
Nice, political. It's going to be hard to say them. Carrying around all that weight on a busted crutch is making you pant.
This is better preserved than the others. You can still read the sign. No, an upside down.
With its horns in the sky. The symbol of...
No, that's the...
A DeLorean era symbol.
After 44 years? That's not... One of these barrels was still leaking.
The skiff is swaying on the...
Let's. We are done here.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village. Looking at a small yellow boat, you reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Look what the tide brought in. Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags. But where are his sunglasses?
That's right. And you're bleeding. Bothered by it. Harry, you look like you... Oh, fuck it. We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heilerstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has...
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
You.
Despite all that you've done, the deserter, the phasmid, the case.
No. Because of all that you've done. The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
And the people on the street helped us too.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
Yes, I'm Trond Heilerstein. I never said I wasn't Trond Heilerstein. Mikael? Mikael's my son. No, I was just interested in the Feld building.
Him being there with his son, it was not a coincidence. It's difficult to see, but he was worried about you. And also interested in the Feld building.
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on. Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me.
I'm
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show. Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was real. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here.
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G. Bevy. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so...
He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing.
Do? It's a Major Crimes Unit. We clear the desk of cases.
They're your posse. Or what remains of it. Handpicked.
The 41st isn't...
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die.
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we? Here we go. Alcoholic delirium. Visions. All must pay. God, you told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Oh, you think it was cool you saying that? Aesthetic somehow? You will cry. None of us wanted to see the abyss. So we fucked off. The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definition.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before. Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders.
So you don't remember not remembering. The two cases in your ledger. The unsolved, those cases.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to...
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat, hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now?
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get... Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here. No, now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for... It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand. Not today, badge.
And your gun?
As if having your badge. What is it with all these material objects?
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone. I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
What you've discovered? You let the suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuragis. We know.
Oh, well, if she was specially trained. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect or the fact that you very likely sold your gun for booze. That compared to the 6 people who were gunned down, the streets are...
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals.
Here comes the cavalry.
He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been. Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He thinks of apologizing.
You've spent the week with him, on this case.
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffretor Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It's just strange, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a true blue moralist. He recently attempted to contact a coalition warship in order to assign la responsabilité. Others still, He is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know. But he is vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which by the way was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Yeah, it was what it was.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo and shows it to the officers across the yard. Thick white snow falls all around you. You hear gasps beneath the howling.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
Detective? The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange...
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
And eyes, too. You're...
Understood, of course.
But a case against Everard would be big.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Female? What makes you think so?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
It's interesting time. Forget about the rest.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates. Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs. As in cloning itself? What makes you think so? Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower...
That makes sense, yes.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species.
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows a good guy for that.
Yes. That would be a chiromone. A pheromone that's seemingly beneficial to the host. It usually stimulates the affected nervous system. Not a human's, of course, but perhaps a predator's. There are species of bees that, under the influence of chiromones, take wasp larvae to their hive.
Nothing is off the table. But I want to stress this. The find does not have to be connected to the case. The case is 100% prosecuted.
Of course, Lieutenant. Of course. We should treat the case and the Phasmid as completely separate from each other. People are not going to...
They're not going to go for this speculation in the constabulary.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on it.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even...
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
Without it...
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a quit while you're ahead? Or no?
What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church. That's great. Entrepreneurship is a great new career for you. After police...
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned.
It's not that okay. Get off this subject now.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Prasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after...
So, it is what a soldier of the...
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Possibly induced. But even without that, these men spent 50 years on the islands in the bay, in solitude, loathing what Ravachol has become. There's plenty for... Also, we have a sniper's nest with full view of the room in which the mercenary died, right on the island.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work. In bouts.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It will pass. In time.
How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates.
He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Evrard. Until the rep came to see that the Union desires...
What? Hand clear the terminal? Sounds like you got played, Harry. Because you were off your tits on Al Ghul. It doesn't matter how I know about Al Ghul. What matters is, you're Everclear's message now. Is that why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous Union head thing? To get off Everard's hook?
No, it's nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything. This allows...
God, calm...
Silence. Good. The man doesn't know what to say.
Yes, yes. Fallen...
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Why? That's not what you were supposed to...
There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead.
Of course. Call it community out.
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment, it seemed like you were just wasting time.
Who's Kuno?
You don't want to know.
You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs, I know you did. It's alright. I mean, at this point, and I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder. So I have to. Jude?
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
You haven't been drinking, she thinks. So, maybe this time.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you... The man looks westward, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who are you? You're a gym teacher. Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher.
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair. The fact that you don't seem to know what homosexuality is, and your moves on the church floor, which honestly...
God, even this javelin-throwing freak here.
Of course. Contact Mike.
He's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy. In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then. Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable...
It is getting cold out.
Yes, you taught gym in Cool. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were...
The smell of sweat and glue. Coudon is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every morning.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with a...
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk. Yeah. Dora England, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. God, I don't know. 6 years ago?
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora England really tore you a new one. A big one. Incredibly bangable. She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a
Snow Welkin. Heartbreak?
I've only seen a picture. But it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was.
Look, the sun is about to go down.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist?
In other words, he's heard enough.
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard?
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just under...
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Get back to it. We left Torson and McLean to run the C-Wing. It's not good. Mac the Torso Torson and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me.
They are damn iconic, though. Torsen and
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the... God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me.
He's anything but a loser. Although he would like to be seen as one. It's cool.
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak.
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this.
Okay. It's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershoal. Faubourg, technically.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasm. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
She is going to be over the moon.
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Rivershoal. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate. Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains with my doom-mongering. Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
would fit in. And crazy enough. This truly came as a surprise to him.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He's really considering it.
Good.
Fuck it, let's go. Tron brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The great district hums in the slowly falling snow. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and you close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in the office, and the curtains are drawn.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
Yes, what is it? Yes, what is it?
All you hear is...
Yes, what is it?
All you hear...
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it? Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence in your head.
Yes, what is it? Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence.
Yes, what is it?
All you hear is silence.
Yes, what is it? Yes, what is it?
All you hear is...
Yes, what is it?
All you hear...
Yes, what is it?
All you hear...
Yes, what is it?
All you...
Yes, what is it?
You don't have to. You already have. A long time ago. These thoughts formed in you somewhere. In a long drinking coffee and smoking. With...
What? But Pale isn't here.
That comforts her. She looks up into the darkness under the nave. Then you have her full and the lieutenant's too. He takes his glasses off.
Then what is that?
It's nothing. No, it's less than nothing. No.
Then the Pale is... But the gradient, it clearly hasn't started yet. We're here, and the Pale is not. I understand. A theory of the Pale where instead of an outer ocean, it metastasizes. Like a cancer or a According to this, how long... And information, causing data losses in the East Insulindian front. Have you considered why it's formed in a church? And also...
An intellectual hunger fills her now, casting fear.
I also have a question, since we are piling them on. How do you know this? I'm not doubting you. I'm simply curious as to how it
knows how to think this.
Of course! A pine wood sarcophagus, or a containment facility of some kind, built by the first settlers. I have considered the same. The bad news is, there were 7 pine. Most of them were burnt down during the revolution, or repurposed before.
Some of them might. A black grain.
You think the presence of that puncture has somehow influenced the outcome of events here?
She already made up her mind when she heard it. Some kind of great and uncaring force had to play a part. It wasn't only them.
I told the producers we need to go and move to a normal office building with amenities. But no, the artists like the milieu, the writers like the history. I told them. You mean Plaisance and the dice maker? There was almost no one left when we packed up. Then go tell them.
An amateur anthropomedic police officer. I'd like to say I've heard stranger things, but I'm not sure. This is a habit.
Yes, it is very interesting.
She falls silent.
I'm going to leave that out. But the rest?
Ma'am, you will certainly some.
One more thing. Maybe a club for anodic music isn't the worst thing you can erect around this particular point in space.
Thank you, Wagab. Let's leave it at that, shall we? We have an
The creepy woman! We were wondering about that when we worked there. But I had it must be anthroponetic crosstalk. The one you get in radios and long-distance calls. Now it makes sense with the...
Incredible. This would also explain why we get it on the police radio all the time.
It's quite common, actually. When the signal gets routed through Pale, all kinds of irregularities take place. You may hear snippets of someone else. Pale is a shroud of memories, and it doesn't really distinguish to whom those memories belong to. You could hear it anytime.
It's always nice to see you here. You bring... What do you mean, the actual source? Are you here to lecture me about economics again? What?
Ma'am, what he's saying is true. We found an anthroponetic anomaly in the small Pinewood church down the coast. I don't mean to be an alarmist, and more research is needed.
But that's not in any of the ancient texts.
Tell her the truth. It's out of her hands.
You're right, officer. I mustn't lose face, especially now that Annette is finally settling in at school. Besides, didn't I have some Sailite hope catchers round? Thank you for your help in any case.
Hi, Ace Detective.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for... You mean the curse that I'm spared of because I live outside its immediate reach? I'm listening. Excuse me? A 2mm hole in reality?
I'm afraid it is, ma'am. Sona Lukanen killed the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident.
Sona is involved in this? So it's even worse than I thought. It's not just the commercial area that's cursed, it's the entire world. You mean considering the fact that the world is collapsing on my porch? In any case, thank you for stopping by.